We won. The shit stains up the road lost. That's all I have to say on that. How's it? Welcome to a celebratory edition of Raiders Gonna Rate. We are doing this live tonight because we're just in such a good mood after yesterday's massive win in the North London Derby. I am joined, as always, by Jessinho. How are you?
I'm good. I couldn't be any better. Exactly. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Jose Mourinho outclassed by Mikel Arteta. Harry Kane is a dirty B. I don't want to say it on thing, but he's a dirty B. And North London is still red. Dirty bastard.
Oh. There are a whole lot more other B words that I was thinking of on that one. So yeah. So bottom line, we're in a rather jovial mood, and we are going to rate the players. I don't think anybody is. We'll see what the lowest score for the players is. I'm actually kind of curious, but we're going to get into it right now. So if you are watching and you're in the chat box, as we do, as I announce the players, by all means, drop us your rating and give us a little snippet of how you thought each player played. The way we do it, we build out from the back. We start with the goalkeeper. We end with the official. So. Now we'll start with Bernd Leno, defense, midfield, attack, subs, Arteta, and then we do actually finish with the ref. I wasn't lying about that. So, Jess, I'm going to let you go first on Bernd Leno.
You got to go first because I need to be strategic. So yeah, you go first.
Oh, being strategic. Okay, all right. So Bernd Leno. I was not Bernd Leno. I mean, it's hard to give him. It's hard to give him less than like a 6. The only thing that really stuck out for me with Bernd, I'm giving him a 7. Actually, I'm going to go with a 7. I've said this before. I don't like his lack of aggression when the ball is in the air and something that he can play. That's just me. And again, and I'll say it again, as a hockey player and a goalie in ice hockey, much different. I understand that, but I was always told to be on my angles and be aggressive. He does not command the air very well. So there was a I don't know if it was a corner. It might have been a free kick. It might have just been a cross for all I know. I can't remember. But he punched the ball away, and I'm thinking to myself, just catch that ball. Just catch that ball. There's absolutely if you can do this, you can do this. That's just me. I get the idea of punching it away sometimes, but man, just get up there, command the air, and catch that ball. That's just me. But we did win the game. He did make a few saves. Lone Star Londoner, poor footwork. Yeah, his distribution, I've said it before, is the weakest part of his game. But he's going to get a 7 from me. It is the North London Derby after all, and I'm in a good mood. So,
yeah. I mean,
I'm waiting to see this. I'm waiting to see the strategy that you have in your head come into play here. So.
I just think, well, now that I realize what I've done, it really just depends. I was trying to make sure that I got certain people first so I could set the stage and make sure the narrative is set in a certain way. But Leno didn't have much to do and didn't have a clean sheet, but we won the game. So I'm just going to give him a 7 just because of that. I do agree with overall what you've said about how he's not great at commanding his box. That's not a today issue. This is a Leno as an Arsenal player issue. So I think until we get a different today issue.
Sorry.
I'm like hearing myself.
I know you could. It's my phone. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I just think that it's just a Leno issue overall in his game. So yeah, 7 is fine with me.
Cedric. Let's go. Yeah, let's go right to left. So let's go with Cedric first.
So Cedric, I think, had a good game. Didn't really put a foot wrong, but the way Cedric plays as the right back in Arteta's system doesn't really allow for him to make a lot of mistakes because he's not asked to do the same things as Bellerin. Bellerin, the way that Arteta makes Bellerin play, based on, I guess, his perceived strengths, puts him in a lot of positions to lose the ball, and things like that. When Cedric plays right back, he doesn't have as much to do because he's just give the ball to Saka, give the ball to Odegaard, whatever. So that being said, I think that he made his life really easy by just doing the basics right. He looks strong, and he shut down Lucas Moura for the most part. I do think that he got turned one time, but that being said, I think he had a pretty solid game. So I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see now that Mikel Arteta, I think, is starting to drop Hector Bellerin down the pecking order here, in on the right back depth chart, if you will. So Cedric doesn't really he's had a few clunkers, but it wasn't anything egregious that he's had in the past. But Cedric is actually setting the bar kind of high, I think. The thing I worry with Cedric is he's playing well for us right now with the occasional, I don't want to even say stinker, maybe a 5. Somewhere in there. That's not my rating for him. But I fear with Cedric that he's setting the bar for himself so high in terms of expectations, at least with us anyway, that eventually he's going to find his level. He's going to come back down a little bit. I mean, I would say on average, he's probably somewhere around a 6, just as an overall player. I would say overall he's probably a 6, but at least yesterday anyway, yeah, he really, handled himself well on the right side of our defense. I'm giving him a 7. He's a tremendous crosser of the ball in attack, but he rarely gets caught out defensively as well. He tracks back well.
Almost had a goal too.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, when he hit the woodwork, I immediately thought that's just not going to be our day. I immediately thought this isn't our day. Thank God I was wrong. But so Cedric for me, 7. Moving on, David Luiz. Whew. Let me tell you a little story about David Luiz. This might be a bit reactionary on my part, but to put in the kind of performance he put in yesterday with Kane, I'm not going to say he had Kane in his pocket, but he and Gabriel did a very, very, very good job of pretty much marking Kane out of the game. That could be down to Heung-min Son. He went off early, obviously, with an injury. That may have affected Kane a little bit, but we defended him incredibly well. David Luiz, if it weren't for there being 2 or 3 other man of the match quality performances from other players, his performance would be up there. David Luiz, for me, gets an 8. That was, if I could get that from David Luiz, if we're going to sign him to an extension next year, give me that David Luiz all the time. And people aren't going to like this, but he's playing himself into that top pairing with Gabriel at this point. That this is now the top pairing. And we've said Holding and Mari were the top pairing. Well, now it's David Luiz and Gabriel. There's a nice little partnership there, and inject it into my veins. I'm here for all of it. David Luiz gets an 8 from me.
Yeah, I think David Luiz, if we're honest with ourselves, has played pretty well this season, but he, there's good that comes, or there's bad that comes with the good, right? Every once in a while, it's coming, but
yeah.
He can play at such a high level sometimes where it's like, and I was just talking to some Chelsea fans about this the other day, that they rate him so highly, but they know the same things. They're like, he can be so, so good, but then he can also have these games where he just has, but is the one mistake, so bad that we wouldn't take that kind of quality of a center back? I'm not sure. I think because he's so good with Gabriel, he's integral to what we're trying to do. Gabriel is our priority. As good as Pablo Mari has been, Gabriel is the priority. That's who we invested in. So if his best partnership is David Luiz, which it looks like it is, David Luiz needs to play as far as I'm concerned. And that's a little harsh on Holding, but I just think David Luiz adds something that, I don't know, it's just a little bit of quality that he has that maybe the other center backs don't have. I think he was really solid in this game. I think that he had a very professional, no, crazy mistake type of game. He was very, very, very solid. So I'll give him an 8. I have nothing to really say. If this was the David Luiz that I felt like I was going to get every week, then I'd be like, yes, but we just know that mistake is always there.
Yeah. That's the one thing with him.
It is the one thing.
It's just going to, and unfortunately that mistake more often than not leads to the ball being in the back of our own net. Unfortunately. And that's, and it's harsh. It's harsh because not every mistake that he makes kind of deserves that outcome, but it happens. And you just got to get smarter with things. I say all the time, situational football, know what's going on around you, understand the situation that you currently find yourself in, and make the best decision. Gabrielle.
So I strategically wanted to go, I wanted to go in this order so that I could get Gabrielle first.
You do know that if you want to go first with a player, you can just say, hey, can I go first this time?
I know, but it's like more fun when I feel like I have a strategy or something. Like, like I'm doing something
feel like you got one over on me.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like, but like not really, because we're just doing ratings, but
right. No, I know what you mean.
But this is vintage Gabriel, like from what we saw in the beginning of the season. The difference now is that he's not under the cosh all the time because we can actually possess the ball and move forward. So for me, Gabriel is exactly what we needed for like 10 years. The defender that we've been asking for, we finally got it. He's young. He's perfect for the project. He's solid, physically dominant. So when we play against, the Harry Kanes of the world, he can hold his own. That's something that we haven't been able to say, in the past with other defenders. And I think he literally did absolutely nothing wrong in this game. Near perfect performance and a game-saving intervention in the 89th minute. This is what we've been asking for. So I feel like Christmas is today, and I got exactly what I've been asking for the last 10 years. So, I mean, Gabriel for me was one of the man of the match, contenders. He's not my man of the match, which pretty much gives away who it probably is. But I'm gonna give Gabriel a 9.
I don't know if it gives away who it is, because I'll tell you what, I would say that there are easily 4. I would say candidates to be man of the match, which we'll get into. But
Gabriel 9. That's my score.
Yeah, exactly. For everything you just said, he's rediscovering that form that he had at the beginning of the season, when he was putting in consistent man of the match performances for us. It's a 9 for me. Probably would have been an 8. I'm bumping it up to the 9 because that clearance off
because
the
of the clearance, exactly.
Yep. And Eugene Phillips here. You're exactly right. Yep. The clearance off the line with the header was
basically a goal.
That's
equivalent to a goal on the other end.
Sometimes sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't be doing this show with someone else because we always agree and you're in my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my head. Because that's exactly what I was thinking. That play was equivalent to a goal. I mean, it saved the goal because that ball's going in. That ball's going in. But it saved the goal. And I just, boy, if man, oh man, it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you. I don't want to get too high on this. You know what I mean? But man, oh man, like it's just there's a budding partnership there with those two. You know, they seem to be understanding each other pretty well at this point. I may have a barking dog here in a minute because now two of the dogs are currently playing right there. So Evie you might get a barking dog in your ear.
Nice.
Do my best to mute it because it's ear piercing. But Gabrielle 9 for everything that we just said. Kieran Tierney. So kind of surprised you didn't want this one first, but I like that you wanted Gabrielle first. So Kieran Tierney. Here we go. It's back now, isn't it? The Kieran Tierney from what they will say the holiday season is back. This is the Kieran Tierney that we all know and love. The injury took a little bit of a toll. He had to knock the rust off. He had to get back into a little bit of form, and he's back, baby. He's back, just like herpes. That's awful. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, Kieran Tierney, boy, oh boy. It's a 9. It's a 9. Man of the match performance. I still haven't made up my mind, actually, on who I'm giving my man of the match performance to, but this is up there. This is one of them. Just Gareth Bale is a shell of himself, and Kieran Tierney embarrassed him yesterday. Absolutely embarrassed that dude. Take your man bun and go back to Madrid. Kieran Tierney, I actually think Kieran Tierney may have slept with Gareth Bale's wife. Like, I think that's it. That's how much he embarrassed him yesterday. I think when the game was over, he's like, by the way, I'll see you back at your place. Make us some dinner when you get home. So, but that's, man, love this kid. Just love this kid. Go.
Just like Eugene Phillips said, needed to empty his Tesco bag after that game. So there's a couple of Tottenham Hotspur players in that bag. But, I think this kind of like goes with what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks with Kieran Tierney is the standards are so high with him that it's like, this is almost like what I expect every game because this is who he is, and he's had a tough time coming back from the injury, but he's back. It's almost like I forget about him because this is who he is. It's not like we're seeing something for the first time. And so it's kind of like he kind of goes under the radar, but this was a really good performance from him. He got an assist on the Odegaard goal. He skinned Doherty. He skinned him for that goal. I mean, Doherty should hang up his boots. It was pathetic. Like he got killed. So for me, the way he embarrasses players, the way that he comes into the game mentally, the way he'll yell at any player on the pitch. It doesn't matter what teammate it is. He's not scared. He's like, I'm here. I'm one of the best players. And I'm going to say this right now. I think Tierney's our best player. I thought it was Saka for a while, but it's not. It's Kieran Tierney. And yeah, I love him. I'll give him a 9. Still not my man of the match, but I give him a 9.
That I think may narrow it down for me now. So let's get into the midfield. I'm giving you Thomas Partey. That's your boy. Okay. That's your boy. I want to hear what you got to say on this.
Do you see my excitement? Okay, so here we go. I get it, you guys. He was tired in the last 20 minutes and he gave the ball away. I get it. I rewatched the game right after the game was done to make sure that I didn't just imagine what I thought I saw. He actually didn't give away the ball at all until right after halftime. He tried to over dribble, lost the ball. The next time he gave up the ball was in the 70th minute. This man was technically secure. He did his job. He had some really good tackles. And I know that the expectation of a world-class midfielder is for them to be the hub of the midfield, for them to be doing everything. But when you have an Odegaard, Thomas Partey is not the connector. He's not the person that you need to be creating chances. He needs to be doing exactly what he did in that game, which is keep the ball ticking over, make sure it's getting to the right people and just being like positionally aware. There was no Højbjerg. There was no Ndombele. Those players didn't exist in that game because Thomas Partey and Xhaka just killed them out of that game as a partnership. Yeah. So yes, I do agree that like a lot of people will say that, and I think it's the recency of it, because that was the scariest part of the game. Last 20 minutes, they went down to 10 men, and we were kind of like under pressure, and he was giving away the ball. But I implore you to go and watch the game over. He was almost perfect before that, so I have nothing, and I still think there's levels to go. That's the thing too. It's like there's still levels to go. That's still not Thomas Partey at 100%, but we have to give him time to get there. And I think this performance after that Olympiacos performance, which was not his best, I think this gives you confidence that we're moving in the right direction with him. So I'm going to give him an 8 in this game. And that's mostly because of those last 20 minutes where he was tired.
Would have been, you're saying it would have been a 9 had it not been for the last 20 minutes.
I think so, because Xhaka as well. I just think that they may not have been the player. They had the most touches. They may not have been the exciting, the smooth. Obviously Odegaard and Smith Rowe were the most exciting players on the pitch, but they killed their midfield off. Yeah, just by being who they were. And they're following instructions from the manager to do certain things. So yes, we want to see Thomas Partey get the ball and dribble forward and beat a bunch of players, but that's not what was needed in this game. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, and I can't be upset by that. I thought he was great. Besides the last 20 minutes. Yeah.
I'm giving him a 7. I'm not going, and the 7 is because of the expectation. I think if you asked Thomas Partey yesterday, hey, do me a favor and rate yourself from yesterday, I think he would come in 6 or 7. I think he himself would be disappointed in that performance. And there's an expectation level here of a world-class midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, that's what knocks it down for me a little bit. It wasn't his best game. He was a little sloppy, missed a few passes that I'm like, no, like I'm screaming and I'm upsetting the dogs yesterday. Like Tierney's wide open on the left. Like, get him the ball. But nothing egregious up until here again the last 20 minutes. And you could tell he was dead on his feet.
He was tired.
Oh my Lord. You could see it. I remember the ball is in play, and I remember watching him in our own end, and he's walking. But you could tell his body language was just, he was dead on his feet. He was gassed, absolutely gassed. I don't play him on Thursday. I don't start him on Thursday. For that reason. You know what? Take a week off. We should be able to get this job done Thursday, and I don't want to get ahead of anything, but give him a week off. Coming back from injury, still getting acclimated. He's tired. Give him a week off. Glad he fought through it. We got the job done. It was touch and go there for a few minutes at the end, but we did get the job done. But expectation wise, it's a 7 for me, because I think there's, like you said, there are levels. He still has easily 3 more gears that he can hit. For this club. So it's a 7 for me, but like I said, it's down to expectation. So Granit Xhaka. Folks, I think there's a realization that we need to come to with Granit Xhaka. I know a lot of people don't like Granit Xhaka, and I get it. But if you are your agenda for Granit Xhaka becomes very apparent when Granit Xhaka has a good game, and you can't give him credit for it. That's just, you don't like a player, and no matter what, it's almost like he slept with your girlfriend because you're not going to give him a good rating no matter what. Granit Xhaka had an 8 for me. Just did everything in the midfield that we want him to do. He dropped back to cover Tierney at left back at times, which that's a very underrated, in my opinion, aspect of Granit Xhaka's game is that ability to drop back and lend cover to a fullback, because he can do it on both sides. He typically does it on the left because that's more of the player that he's covering in Tierney. But here we go. BWA Savages. The few games midfield battle will show the legitimacy of Thomas Partey Xhaka pivot. Not saying we don't need to upgrade on him. I'm not saying that we can't upgrade, and I think we should look to upgrade. But this is the midfield, at least. I don't want to say pairing because I think it's a midfield trio with Odegaard in there. But this pivot of Xhaka Partey is what we're going to see for the rest of the season. I'd drop Granit Xhaka. I wouldn't drop him. I'd rest Granit Xhaka on Thursday as well. He needs a break because this dude is just he's like the $6 million man out here. Dude's just he's playing every minute of every game. He has the mistake. I understand that. He has those games where he's not at the top of his game. But we're seeing a Granit Xhaka now that I think we were hoping to see 4 years ago when we bought him. Granit Xhaka gets an 8 for me. And it's almost I'm not putting him in the conversation of man of the match, but it could be like if somebody said to me Granit Xhaka was man of the match for them, I wouldn't be shocked. It would surprise me, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. I think with the Xhaka thing is I've already turned the corner. I turned the corner many, many weeks ago that I think he's better than what we ever gave him credit for. And, you're saying that, he's putting in these types of performances. I really think that two people are, responsible for that. And one of them is Thomas Partey and the other one is Mikel Arteta. Although I do think Granit Xhaka has played well without Thomas Partey at times, I think having somebody to play off of that is good at what you're not good at makes it so much easier for him to do, what he does best. And he does have some really nice technical quality, with his passing, and he's a very intelligent, positionally aware player. And Arteta has made it his business to make sure that that Xhaka is not getting exposed. And he's been doing that since the very beginning, but we just didn't have the right people around him to keep him safe. That's what a team is. It's not always about having perfect players. It's, every single player has flaws. So sometimes you're going to have to cover them up. I think Xhaka, to me, had a really, really good game. I don't think he was man of the match, but I'm having a hard time not giving him, I can't give him the same as Thomas because he, I think Thomas really, he faded at the end of the game. Xhaka did not. So I don't think that they should get the same score. I think Xhaka was better than him. And he had some really nice tackles. That were some crazy tackles.
I completely forgot about the tackle on was it Doherty?
He had one on Doherty and then he had another one on Lucas Moura further up the pitch.
I'm talking about the one where it was right along the
that was the Doherty one.
That was Doherty. Doherty. So I don't know, whatever.
I'm probably saying it wrong. So
you say tomato, I say tomato.
I'm actually going to give Xhaka a 9 because I think he was just as good and solid as Gabriel. I think he was better than Luiz, but probably right there with Tierney and Gabriel in the 9 category for me.
The only thing, if I had to dissect Granit Xhaka, the player, and tell you what we needed to upgrade of that player, it's simply his athleticism. I'm not sure you're going to find a smarter, albeit consistency or lack thereof, aside. He's very intelligent. He's a very intelligent footballer. I don't know that you'll upgrade the intelligence. You can get rid of the mistakes. Anybody brings up the mistakes that he makes, 100%. But he does have it up here when he's switched on. The minute he switches off is when that mistake creeps in. The only thing that I think the only way you upgrade Granit Xhaka is the athleticism. That's where he lacks.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all it is for me. I'm not sure you're going to upgrade the intelligence. So
I think I have to give him a 9, and that's probably being generous, but when I watched the game and I watched it over, he really didn't do anything wrong. And I mean, he was good. He was, what can I say? Those tackles, you know?
Yep, absolutely. Let's see.
Ode.
You want to go Odegaard, or do you want to go right to left with that 3 behind Lacazette?
It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do.
I don't even remember who's up first. I think you're up next. Yeah, because I just went with Saka. So go ahead. Give me Martin Odegaard.
Marty was excellent in this game. Again, I implore you to rewatch it when your ass isn't tight and you're relaxed, because, seriously, because you miss things when you're scared and you're like standing up by the television, but when I rewatched it, I was like, very, very good. Everything that I disliked about his performance against Olympiacos, the exact opposite. The goal that he scores is identical to the one that he missed against Olympiacos. So he was concentrating, he was clued in, defensively aware. He made sure that he got stuck in, which is something that we could never really say about Ozil. People said that he tracked back. That's what tracking back looks like. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like what Ozil was doing. That's what it looks like for a player that doesn't do that type of work anyway. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about energy level, commitment, things like that. He was making some of those Spurs players look like absolute fools, nutmegging them, little outside of the foot, just turns around the corner, beautiful passes, and a goal. There's nothing better than that. Like that, what else could you ask for? I just think, and then we got to see that him and Smith Rowe can play together, which is obviously another conversation, but I think that relieves some of the anxiety about who's going to play. They can play together. And so I'm going to give Odegaard a 9.5. I'm being very generous today. I think.
Oh, that came in at literally as you said it. So you and Eugene.
I got to give him a 9.5. I just, I don't have anything. We won the game. I mean, we were giving them 7s and 8s because we weren't winning games or, whatever. It's a North London derby. We won and they played excellent. It wasn't like we didn't deserve to win either. It wasn't like a fluky win, so 9.5.
Yeah, it's
YOLO.
Did you just say YOLO?
Yeah, YOLO.
You ever heard the song YOLO from The Lonely Island and Lamar Kendrick? And you got to look that up. You know who The Lonely Island is, right?
No.
You don't know who The Lonely Island is? It's Andy Samberg from Saturday Night Live. We'll talk about it off the air. But
also, Odegaard is not my man of the match. So that pretty much narrows it all the way down.
Interesting. So, wow. I'm if it's who I think it is now, I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I'll tell you why. But Odegaard for me is a 9. I said it before. You see it. You see the technical ability in this kid, right? I mean, everybody can see it. He had a couple of down games for us. Burnley was not his best performance. Even the Olympiacos match last Thursday started out not his best performance, but now 2 goals in 2 games, and you could just see the confidence is just started. He's overflowing at this point with the confidence, and it's only going to build. If we don't get this kid in the summer, Don Giovanni, need to sign Odegaard on a permanent. Absolutely. At this point, the negotiations should have already started for him. I don't know if Harry Symeou is still watching. I know he put out a thing on 90min.com, I believe, about the fact that the negotiations to make it permanent should have already started at this point with him. I think 45 mil gets it done for him. I think Madrid right now would sell him for 45 mil. Everything you said, he tried, situationally, so aware of everything now, and that's confidence again. That's just when you are playing on the front foot the way he has done now for the last, what we would say, game and a half, give or take, game or 2/3 maybe. Everything clicks. Everything, just every piece of the puzzle fits the first time. You know what I mean? You're not hunting for that. Oh, where's this piece? No, you know where it's just boom, boom, boom. Everything. It just works. Velvishwan says, question for you two. Somehow our Odegaard. It's Odegaard. I've seen him here.
I don't even want to see that name ever again.
I'm
Odegaard.
Yeah, it's Odegaard. It's Odegaard. I've seen him play in this system. It's Odegaard. End of. So yeah, it's Odegaard, man of the match for me, and it's a 9. Let's see. All right. I'm going to take this one, and this is who I think your man of the match is. Emile Smith Rowe. And you can tell you when you get into it. But again, so we talked in the pregame about Odegaard and Smith Rowe playing together. Do we not like Smith Rowe being out on the left? Here's the thing. If you go back and you rewatch the game, how often do you see Odegaard actually move over to the right? And then Emile Smith Rowe linked up with Kieran Tierney. It was the link up between those two was absolutely brilliant. The overlaps, just all of it. That three in behind Lacazette were brilliant. I dare say, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I dare say Bukayo Saka was the worst of the three. Now, again, that's not to say that he was awful, but yesterday he was the worst of those three players. Emile Smith Rowe, for his time on the pitch, gets a 9. That's the other man of the match performance for me. Kid was, you could see when he came off the pitch, the smile on his face. Everybody, congratulating him, giving him, showing him love. That man, my heart smiled at that. My heart smiled at that. I love this kid, and I'm consistency. I excuse my language. God damn it, get some consistency, because then I can really be excited about this. Then I can really be excited. Emile Smith Rowe, I love you. You're welcome on this show anytime. It's a 9 for me, kid.
Yeah, Emile Smith Rowe. I'm so excited. I just think hearing him talk about how excited he was the day before the game,
yeah.
And if you've ever played sports, when you're about to play a big game, you can barely sleep, so I can understand to a certain extent what he was feeling, being a Hale End graduate and knowing what the North London Derby is all about. It was his first North London Derby. Just some of his stats really quick. He created 4 chances in that game, more than any other Spurs player put together. And he also had the best passing accuracy of any player in that game at 97%. And this man wasn't passing backwards and sideways. He defends. He's defensively solid as well. He does the work, going back as well as going forward. And what I like about the system is Tierney basically plays like a left wing, left winger. ESR drops in as a second 10, and then we have 2 10s pretty much. And with Willian, it's okay, but Emile Smith Rowe is obviously the option there. And it's good to see that in a big game, Arteta took that option instead of going with the old standard of Willian. ESR was, he should have gotten a goal. That ball deserved to go in the back of the net. It was amazing, but his performance overall was just so impressive. He did get called up to the under 21s, which I think is just a pit stop before Southgate goes ahead and pulls him up to that full national team. He will get there at some point, as long as he stays fit. I can't give him a 10 because he didn't get the goal. If he had gotten that goal, I would have given him a 10. So he's still a 9.5 for me, but just because of how much I love this kid, he's my man of the match. Odegaard was great. He was great as well, but Smith Rowe, he's one of our own, so he's my man of the match, and I could cry. She's so good. He's so good.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Bukayo Saka. Let's get real quick.
Yeah.
Velvish One's got one more question for us. Bruno Guimaraes, Frank Kessie, or Gini Wijnaldum. Go ahead. Who would you take of the three?
Oh, when we were originally linked with Bruno Guimaraes, before he went to Lyon, I was dying for Edu to get that player. So good. He's so good. He would be perfect next to Thomas Partey, but he ended up going to Lyon, and Edu couldn't get it done because we didn't have the money. I would still take him. Gini Wijnaldum over the hill, not somebody I would want. And Frank Kessie, I know he's playing really well at the moment at AC Milan, but I feel like he's so similar to Thomas Partey. It's almost like they cancel each other out. But I would definitely take Bruno Guimaraes. If he wanted to leave Lyon, I would take him.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with you. I would not sleep on Gini Wijnaldum only because he's over the hill. But look, give him a 2-year deal. I'd take it. I mean, if the money's right, the term is right. Like I said, I wouldn't give him any more than 2 years. But he's Premier League proven. That's something that I put some stock in that. So, but yeah, my first choice would be how do you say it? Guimaraes?
Like Bruno Guimaraes, like the same thing as
like
Magalhaes.
Yeah, okay. Let's just call him Bruno. How about that? I'll just call him Bruno. So
I would take him. I would.
Yeah. Hey man, appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's I think you're a Liverpool supporter, so
he is. We came on the last stream that I was on and was talking a whole load of rubbish. Whole load of rubbish.
Hey, we'll see you guys at the Emirates here in a couple of weeks or in a few weeks. But no, thank you very much for the subscription, man. Appreciate that. So Bukayo Saka. To you.
Buki is tired, and then obviously he's overplayed, and now he has some sort of muscle injury of some type, so I'm just hoping that it's not too bad, but he's also a player that's being kicked every single game. And when you're the best player on a team, sometimes it's difficult for you to get your game going when the other players are like, okay, we're going to double team this one guy. The difference between today's game and the games of the past is that Willian was on that other side. So even though he was okay, he wasn't necessarily a threat. ESR is a threat. So regardless if you're kicking Saka and he's not having a good game, we still have somebody else on that other side making it tick. I cannot be mad at Bukayo Saka because he's been overplayed. We know this. He's been our best player this entire season, besides maybe Kieran Tierney. So I'm going to give him a 7, but that's not like, oh, he played bad, or anything like that. It's just he's tired. Yeah. He's muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Trying to keep the dogs quiet. Well, at least so you guys can't hear the dogs barking. I have no idea what they're barking at, but no. But Bukayo Saka. I mean, he's just now all of a sudden you're seeing teams are just they're kicking the crap out of him now. They really are. So he's tired. Needs a break. So if it's a hamstring, if that's what I heard it was a hamstring. Take the next few weeks off, man. Just don't even hand him a shirt for Olympiacos. Don't hand him a shirt for West Ham. I think we can bring Pepe on, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But at this point, everybody's starting to buy in now. I think there are players that can sub in for Bukayo Saka and give him a little bit of a break. So, but it's a 6 for me, and it's more just down to I think he's exhausted. Kid needs a break. So give him the break. These performances, the numbers are going to go up again. So it's as simple as that. Alex Lacazette. I don't know if you had strategically tried to plan that out or not. Do you want to go first with this, or do you want me to go?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So if you have watched anything, if you've heard me say anything about Alex Lacazette, you know that I am a big Lacazette fan. I have a soft spot in my heart for him because he scored the first goal that I ever got to see live for the club. So Lacazette, Eugene Phillips, yeah. Aubameyang was not missed. Alex Lacazette put in the work. Put in the work. That's what he does. Got the penalty. That's a stone cold penalty. I don't care what anybody says. Enough with this. If that play happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a penalty. It's a foul and a free kick. It happened in the box. So guess what? Penalty. I dare anyone to prove to try to make a point that it's not a penalty. So Alex Lacazette gets an 8 for me. Buried the penalty as well. He should have. He took that very well, very confident, put his boots through it. You're always going to get a work ethic out of this guy. He's always going to put in that shift. Lone Star, I don't know what you saw to give him a 6 yesterday. I don't understand that number at all. That's pretty harsh, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm muted.
Renee,
I was gonna say, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I can tell you probably what Lone Star Londoner saw, and Lone Star is pretty harsh, to be fair. We love you, but you can be harsh sometimes. The expectation of Lacazette to be something that he's not. He's not particularly athletic. He's not very quick. And the way that he plays in this system is completely different than the way that he plays, that Aubameyang would play it. And the 3 behind were set up for Aubameyang, and they just plop Lacazette in there. That being said, I think that he was good. You know, he got stuck in, he won the ball. He's not tall, so he's not going to be able to get the crosses from Kieran Tierney that were going straight to Toby Alderweireld and Davidson Sanchez's heads. He finished the penalty, and he wasn't anonymous. You know, he was in and around it. This is how he plays in the system. He's a link-up player, you know, so expectations sometimes needs to be taken in consideration with the system, what he's being asked to do from Arteta, you know, things like that need to come into play. Lacazette is just, when he plays in the system, he plays like a link-up man. So that means that sometimes his job is not even to really score. His job is to facilitate other players like Saka and Emile Smith Rowe and them to score. The only thing I was more disappointed in him was like the one chance that he let run, and I thought he should have hit that.
Yep.
You know, the swipe, you know, that ended up being the penalty. Who cares? We got a penalty. Why are we knocking him for that? Lacazette probably won't be here next season, but the way that he's played this season as just a second fiddle to Aubameyang, keeping us afloat when Aubameyang was missing in action. Can we give him a little bit of respect? You know, can we give him a little bit of something? He's really good in big games. I didn't see anything wrong with his performance. I'm going to give him an 8. I don't see it. I think it's just expectation, you know, and how he's asked to play in the system have to come into talk, you know, when we start talking about these things. Can't expect them to do something that they're not supposed to be doing per the system. He's not Aubameyang, you know, he's Lacazette.
I'm going to give you something here, and I'm going to get lambasted for this, and we're going to go well over an hour, by the way, again. But that's fine. We're live. And by the way, everybody in the chat watching live, thank you guys so much. You guys, you're doing a great job in the chat. Love seeing all the interaction, all the ratings from you guys. That's brilliant stuff. Thank you guys very much for being out there, being a part of the show tonight. So real quick, before we get into the subs, this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. It is not reactionary. I have felt like this for a while now. I would, if I could sell Aubameyang in the summer, I'd sell him, and I'd keep Lacazette. I'm not saying I'd extend Lacazette. I'm not saying I'd extend him. But if I could sell Aubameyang in the summer,
run his deal down.
I'd let him run his deal down. I'd let him run his deal down because here's the thing. You could sell Aubameyang. You could probably replace him with a pretty good striker for the money that you could sell him for. Maybe you got to tack some on. I'm thinking Hudson Edouard from Celtic. I think that's a name that we've talked about him before, Jess. You and I have. That's what I would do. Now, there's a little bit more that goes into the Aubameyang decision. let me rephrase that. Not more that goes into it, but after, and we'll talk about this at the end because I do want to talk about this at the end. The incident from yesterday and him being dropped in the disciplinary action that Arteta took with him. So, but you can lambaste me. You can unfollow me on Twitter if you want. You can lambaste me in the comments all you want, but that I would let Lacazette run his deal down. I would not sell him in the summer. I would look to sell Aubameyang. That said, if I couldn't sell Aubameyang, but I could sell Lacazette, I would do that. If I had my druthers, I'm keeping Lacazette, letting him run his deal down, and I'm selling Aubameyang. That's just might be an unpopular opinion. It's not reactionary. It's not just based on yesterday's performance or yesterday's match. Lacazette. Look, I've watched a lot of shows today. I've been home all day. I've watched a lot of shows. Unpopular opinion: we play better when Aubameyang doesn't play. He's a brilliant striker, but this team plays better. They play more like a team when he's not in the lineup because everybody defaults to Aubameyang. They almost try to get him involved to a fault, to a detriment to the team when he's in there. So,
yeah,
take that for what it's worth. I don't know if you want to piggyback off that or if you just want to get into the subs. By all means.
All I want to say is that I thought prior to this game that it was more of a Lacazette, Pepe, Saka, Emile Smith Rowe game than an Aubameyang Odegaard game. That being said, I think Odegaard was amazing, but I just think that I agree that we play more free-flowing, quicker, boom, 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 1-2 touch football when we're playing with all four people being involved versus where we're setting up the team to facilitate Aubameyang, and yes, he does get the goals. He's the guy with the big contract, so we have to kind of make it work. But I think what we need to be looking for in the summer is somebody who has the clinical finishing of Aubameyang, but the work rate and buildup of Lacazette. The striker that we need is 7 years younger than them and a combination of the two. But Lacazette serves us better because he brings in the players around him. Whereas it's just, let's hope Aubameyang gets the goal, when he's out there. So I didn't miss him. I thought he was absolute crap for being late to a North London derby. Anybody who wanted to see Arteta be fair and to follow through with non-negotiables for all players, there you have it. He did it, and he did it with the club captain. So
we're gonna get it. Save it for the end because we are gonna get into this. So let's get into the subs. So the first sub was Pepe on for Saka at halftime, I believe. He's getting it. It's starting to click for him, and we eliminate the individual mistakes in this team, and everybody continues to buy in the way they're buying in. Good things are going to start happening for this club. Pepe for me was dangerous. The pass into Lacazette to create the penalty was
fatal pass. That was a fatal pass.
My God!
Wow!
Just unreal. Pepe gets an 8 for me. He's getting it. Like I can't really say much more than that. He's getting it.
I know what you're trying to say.
I think you actually said on your post-game show or your post-game recap earlier today, if I'm not mistaken, that we hear all of these things about Martinelli and Pepe and being down in the dumps and not being, but then I think it was you that said, but then you see training pictures and they're smiling, they're carrying on. They look happy, they look engaged. I can tell you right now, they look more engaged and happier than Aubameyang looked yesterday. Because every time they decided to cut to that shot of him, what was he doing?
Exactly.
It's all boo-boo faced up there. If he just keep putting in the work, young man. Just keep putting in the work, and you might start to change some tunes about you being worth that transfer fee that we paid for you. Still don't think he's a 72 million pound player. I didn't think he was then. I don't think he is now. But he's getting it. It's starting to click for him. Take advantage of the time that you get to play. Yesterday, I think he was fortunate. Unfortunate for Saka in the injury. Fortunate for Pepe because he gets to come in. And yeah, eight.
Yeah, I think Pepe is slowly becoming one of my favorite players. And that's because he's slowly reminding me more and more of my favorite player in the league, but that's not an Arsenal player, which is Mahrez. But Mahrez doesn't play all the time for Man City. Why is it a big deal now? We need to have, hey, Charlotte, we need to have different options for different systems and opposition. And I think Pepe gives us something different that we don't have. And when you have Martinelli, Pepe, Saka, and Emile Smith Rowe, and Willian, I mean, how can you complain? I think as Arsenal fans, we're just not used to having options. It's usually first 11, and then everybody after that is just subpar. To become a great team, like a Man City or, whatever, you need to have options and you need to have backups. The days of having a first 11 and playing their legs into the ground like Klopp has done with Liverpool, you're seeing that they're needed. It's hurting them now. You've got to have multiple options. So I don't see any issue. And I'm not worried about Martinelli and Pepe. They look happy. You guys. Like, it's fine. But Pepe, as long as he keeps coming off the bench and doing what he's doing, and even when he starts the way he's playing, I want this kid to stay. He's 25 years old, good age, and he looks happy. So, and that pass, that vision, that touch, that is the talent that Pepe has that you can't teach that. That's something that you just have, so yeah, he gets an 8. He's amazing, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up was ESR coming off for Willian, I believe, and it was around the 70-minute mark. So Willian, the only thing with Willian I'm sorry, I went Pepe first. It's your turn. You take Willian first. My fault.
Oh, I mean, you really could have taken it. I just think that he was brought on to just kind of protect the lead and to just see the game out. He was sloppy when he came on. Yeah. I thought with the ball. The technical security, we need to see it, Willian. Like, it can't just happen every once in a while. Like, the whole thing, the whole ruse, the entire marketing thing, PR, you're technically secure, experienced Premier League player, and you don't need time to adapt. You've needed time to adapt. You've been sloppy on the ball. You haven't looked experienced. Like, I expect you to just come on and make things work, So if we hadn't won the game, I would have given him a lower score, but I'm just going to give him a 5. Like, your job was to come on and just keep the ball, keep us safe. And you didn't do that, Yeah. So, and you didn't have anything else like prior to that to back you up. You kind of failed the mission a little bit. If we had not won that game, I'd be looking at him a lot worse,
Yeah, for sure.
5.
Yeah, he's going to get a 5 for me. I got to put this up. Where's it at? Velvishwan, Willian, 10, world-class performance from a world-class player. Boy, I hope this is dripping with sarcasm. Let me know in the comments, because if you gave him a 10 on that performance, woo, in the words of Ric Flair. Now it's a 5 for me. Probably the biggest, the most egregious error that he made was not just dribbling the ball into the corner. Just run clock, man. Dribble the ball down into the corner. And when he did this, there was no player. We had taken off Lacazette for El Neni. We had no striker. And he's trying to make a play. Like, nah, man, the play you make there is dribble the ball into the corner. Just dribble the ball into the corner. Stay down there. That's it. But yeah, it's a 5 for me. He was average at best. He was average.
If we don't win that game, I'm going in.
Yeah. And last but not least,
go ahead.
My Pyramid Pirlo, baby, Mohamed El Neni. He came on like the 85th minute or something, and again, just they even said it on the broadcast. For those of you not in America, on the American broadcast of the game. Arlo White called him the closer, I believe. I think he said, Mikel Arteta is bringing on the closer. I was half expecting to hear Enter Sandman, like he's Mariano Rivera and the New York Yankees coming in here. But now that's my guy. I love the passion and the energy that he brings. He's not the best player in the world. He's not the most gifted attacking player in the world, but you know what you're going to get from him for the most part. He's going to run around. He's going to make things uncomfortable for the opposition. And when he came on yesterday, and again, I think he may have only gotten about 10 minutes, including stoppage time. So, not really a chance to do much, but I give him a 6 because he's the closer.
He did better than Willian, in my opinion, to come in for those last couple minutes. I know I just went blurry. It should fix in a second, but I'm going to give him a 6 instead of a 5 because, he didn't really do much, but he was better than Willian. He did what he was supposed to, close out the game. He ran around, so it's fine. El Neni, 6.
I like Max. I like where Maxwell's head's at. He gets a 10, 1 for each. But whoa.
I know. I'm fixing my camera. There you go.
Oh, okay. We're all good. That's it for the subs. I'm just looking through the comments here, just to get everybody's comments up here on their ratings for El Neni. So we'll move on to. We're going to do the official first. I'm going to do Michael Oliver first here. I'll let you go first.
I think he called the penalty. I can give him that. For the most part, I think he called a pretty even game. But he allowed Lamela to stay on the field a lot longer than he should have.
Yeah.
There were a lot of afters. And the funny thing about it is that, I just have a feeling that when Lamela got the red card, it was because they had already seen the things prior to, so it was like the next one and he's out. But he just kind of got away with too much, in my opinion, that was outside of the game. Hard tackles, yeah. But if Arsenal players are kicking after, or elbowing people after, he was sent out there. Literally, yes, he scores a Rabona, who cares? After that, he was just, all he was doing was just going to Xhaka, trying to rile him up, going to David Luiz, trying to rile him up. And it was a joke. Then I have to add the sideline ref in here. How do you not see Harry Kane assault Gabriel right in front of you? I'm so tired of this asshole getting away with things. I don't care that he's the England captain. I don't give a crap about that. That was a misdemeanor attack on Gabrielle, and you didn't do anything about it. And I know you guys speak on those little headphones.
Yeah.
If your buddy on the sideline can't do his job, what the heck? I know Michael Oliver is the main person in the middle. I'm glad that he, got the penalty right because he initially called it and then they stuck with it. But the Spurs players they were coloring outside the lines a little bit too much for me. And justice was eventually served, but Harry Kane should have got a red card and Lamela should have got a straight red. They should have both had red cards and been out of there. So he gets a 2. Your group is with you, and if they don't call it and you don't call it, then a straight red. I know that he got a yellow for a second. That was a straight red. It was very similar to what Mane did to Tierney, only just a little bit, one level up from what Mane did to Tierney in the Liverpool game. That kind of after stuff, that's not normal. That's not normal. So you could really hurt somebody. And what Harry Kane did, he could have snapped Gabrielle's neck like that. So I think they should have had 2 straight reds. So he gets a 2 for me. Sorry, you got to get it all right.
Yeah.
Putting our players in danger.
The penalty's a penalty. He got that right. VAR confirmed it. Didn't ask him to go over to the monitor and double check. They agreed with his call. And it's the right call. Excuse me. Everything else, awful, just awful. If this is why hockey polices itself, because the refs aren't going to do it for you. So you know what? Police it yourself. Somebody go after Harry Kane. Somebody go after Harry Kane. I don't care. Like, you know what? Just if I'd almost be inclined, if I'm Mikel Arteta and I saw that, I'd almost tell El Neni to go out there and just smack him. Seriously. Just hit him. Just hit him. Put him on his ass and make him know you and make sure he knows you're there. You're not going to get away. You might get away with it in terms of discipline. You're not going to get away with it physically, because now we're just going to beat you up.
Can I just say this really quick, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Velvishwan, I know you're a Liverpool fan, but if somebody did that to one of your players, you wouldn't feel, if an Everton player in your derby or whatever, like Virgil van Dijk, I mean, he's out for, I can't believe you guys don't, I get the tinfoil hat thing, but North London derbies are different now. You know, that you don't get a free one anymore. You know, so if an Arsenal player had done that, they would have been out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, I get that whole like, well, it's a North London derby, you should be allowed to have a couple fights. That was not fighting. That was not within.
That's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot.
Yeah, those are cheap shots. Like, come on.
You want to fight? Listen, I'll tell you right now. I'll take my guys in a fight over those idiots. Said, I'm serious. Like, I look at Gabriel and I'm like, is there anybody on that team that would actually step up to him in a fight? No, I don't think it would. You know who the player is that I would love to see go after one of theirs? Granit Xhaka. I would have loved to have seen Granit Xhaka just like, hey man, go Burnley on him. Snatch somebody up by the throat. And go WWE style. Chokeslam him to hell. I don't know.
If everybody can get away with those things, then I'm okay with it. But because I know that specific players are getting away with things because of their status, maybe that they're golden boys and things like that, that's absolute crap. If Xhaka could run up to somebody and do what he did, cool. Then it's fine. But I don't feel like we can do the same things, you know. So
we can't.
Unfair advantage, you know. So that's all I'm trying to say. Like, if we can all fight, it's cool. If we all get one, it's fine. Lamella and Harry Kane should have had straight reds. The only thing that's I'm not giving him a 2. He was a little lax with the cards, as you've adequately pointed out. Got the penalty right. He did call the game for the most part pretty evenly, but you've got to make these tough decisions. You can't let them get away with this stuff. So he gets a 4 from me. Just like I said, I'm giving him a little bit of credit for the things that he did get right, but it's a 4 for me because it's still not good enough. Eugene Phillips, he's leaving Spurs at the end of the season. We would think I don't know if he's leaving, but he knows. No, he'll be at Spurs until the end of time. He ain't going nowhere.
You think? I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that.
I mean, where is he going to go? Everybody wants Erling Haaland. Nobody wants Harry Kane. Why am I going to buy? Well, Spurs are not going to sell him for anything less than 100 million. So if I have 100 million to spend, I'm going to spend it on Erling Haaland and not on Harry Kane, who's only been the best striker in Europe when the rest of Europe is playing like crap besides Robert Lewandowski. Yeah. Like, call a spade, like Aubameyang's not playing well. Salah and Mane are off their game. Like, it took until everybody else to fall off for you to look good. It's not a coincidence that in the worst season in the Premier League, this is one of the worst seasons in terms of quality, that you look good now. I get it. He can build up play. He's dropping back. I don't care. He's good, but he ain't that good. I literally heard a Spurs fan say that he was the best striker in Europe. And I laughed. I'm like, do you not know Robert Lewandowski?
No.
Or Erling Haaland? Like, get a grip.
Or Kylian Mbappe.
Like,
who I think is the best striker in the world.
So, yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. Arteta.
Oh my gosh, Velvishwan just said Harry Kane is better than Lewandowski.
No.
Velveschwan.
I'm going to put this up here, but come on, man.
Velveschwan.
Come on.
Velveschwan. Come on. Come on, buddy.
He's not better than Lewandowski. Not better than Lewandowski. It's not even close.
It's really not even close. No, I'm sorry.
He's not close. So
I'm sorry. You know what I'm going to give Arteta? Disciplined his club captain, took a huge risk.
I know what you're going to give him.
Got the tactics right, kept London red. What did he do wrong?
10?
I'm going to give him a 10. I am. I'm going to give him a 10. Sorry.
I always said that I would never give out a 10 on this show. It's just too hard to give out a 10. Everything has to be perfect. I never said I wouldn't give the coach a 10 or the manager a 10. I only ever said that about players. He disciplined his captain, his talisman, to send a message, because this is habitual behavior now, apparently, from what we're hearing about Aubameyang. So he sits him. Very easily could have brought him on for Lacazette at the end of the game. Didn't have to bring on El Neni and try to just sit back and absorb, the pressure that they were going to throw at us. Could have brought Aubameyang on and had another target man up top, hit him on the break and try to embarrass them, but he didn't. The lineup was spot on. He's Emile Smith Rowe. We said about Emile Smith Rowe and Martin Odegaard. Can they play together? Yeah, we've seen it now. Now they can play. We've seen they can play together.
Mm-hmm. Could have played the old standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arteta gets a 10. He got it right. And you know what? I have been very critical of him and his tactics and his playing out from the back thing. Yesterday that's how you do it. It's a combination of both. If a team's playing a high press on you, don't play out from the back. Just don't. We don't have the players to do that. But if they're going to sit back and they're going to let us play out from the back, then do it. But David Luiz bombing the ball upfield. Bernd Leno bombing the ball upfield. So something happened last week in training that the light bulb went off, whether it be for the players listening to Arteta or Arteta himself saying, okay, this persistence with playing out from the back, even when we're under pressure, isn't working. So we need to do something different. And he did it, whether it's just getting the players to buy in and listen to him, but it worked. Every single thing he touched yesterday turned to gold. It's a 10. Well done. Well done. This is what Mikel Arteta needed. I hope that there are more people now coming around to this. That includes me. Because I've been critical of the tactics. That's it. I think he's a good manager. It's not that you could be a good manager, a good coach, and not have good tactics, or I disagree or don't like the tactics. But he's a good manager, and we're starting to see it now. Now the last piece of this puzzle is consistency, and I've been beating this drum for a month.
Can we just address this comment by Rowan? I think he wants to kind of.
We're going to get into we're getting into the Aubameyang thing. So
okay.
Take it away. I'm curious as to your thoughts on this.
The only thing that I question about whether or not Arteta should have, disciplined Aubameyang or not is whether or not it should have been public. U.S. commentary said that the entire situation of him dropping his captain, his talisman before a really big game smacks of inexperience. I would say that is the most experienced I thought Arteta looked as a manager, was to not, skirt the rules for certain people. Aubameyang needs to be accountable. U.S. commentary was saying that Arteta was, punishing the players, punishing his team for punishing Aubameyang. Are you a joke? Aubameyang was punishing his teammates. Aubameyang should be on time. Okay, well, there's traffic in London. Everybody else on the team lives in London. So why can they get there on time and not you? You should be the first one there. It's called being the captain. You talked about wanting to be a legend, wanting to do all this kind of stuff. I haven't seen that this season. That's been a fallacy for me. It's a myth. He would have to do a lot up to this point, more than scoring goals, because becoming a legend is more than scoring goals, to convince me that was like real. You should show up on time, if not early. Lee Dixon said the time to show up for a 10 o'clock meeting is 10 to 10. And that's exactly what George Graham said. Arteta is not doing anything outside of what managers do. We question him because he's new. Arteta knows what he's doing. You tell the captain that you need to be on time, you're dropped. So that Emile Smith Rowe, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel know, I'm not getting away with shit. And those are the people that we really care about, right? Is our younger players. They need to grow up in the right culture, which is what we've always talked about. So the only thing I can say is maybe it shouldn't have been publicized, but we don't know why he had to go ahead and say it. Arteta might have, Aubameyang may have already told somebody, so he may have had to come out with it. But regardless if he came out with it or not, or if it was public or not, even if we had lost this game, Aubameyang would have been the one at fault, not Arteta. Period. Right. I don't feel any sort of way except for Arteta did the right thing. Period.
Yep. Everything you just said, I agree with 100%. And does it need to be made public? We don't know what the circumstances were. Does it need to be made public? I would lean towards saying probably not. However, I'm an advocate of you discipline behind closed doors. You praise in public, but you discipline behind closed doors. Now, he's obviously going to be asked why Aubameyang was dropped from the squad. Why isn't he starting, blah, blah, blah. And it's disciplinary. The only thing I would say is the one knock on Arteta in this situation is, okay, you didn't start him, but you gave him a shirt. And I understand that him not starting is a bit of a, he's seeing that as a bit of a punishment. But you really want to get the point across? Don't give him a shirt. Tell him to go home. And the thing is that we're now hearing that this is habitual behavior with Aubameyang. He's habitually late. So a stand needed to be taken here by Mikel Arteta with the younger players to say, this is unacceptable. I don't care who you are. You are not bigger than this club. And if this is going to be a pattern of behavior for you, then I need to step up to the plate and do something about this. So, you make the circumstances under which he was dropped public. I could see the argument on both sides. I don't want to be lied to. I appreciate the transparency. On the other hand, you don't have to lie and you simply say it's disciplinary. We handle it behind closed doors. End of. The media do not need to know every little detail. So I can see both sides of things. Now, the bigger problem that I actually have here is it is rumored that Aubameyang sped off in his chrome-coated Lambo now he didn't play, so does he really need a warm down? But you don't do that. You hang around. You're with your teammates in the locker room, and to a degree, you guys all leave kind of somewhat together. Guys start trickling out of the dressing room one by one, and you leave.
You're the captain.
Yeah. I'd strip him of the captaincy at this point. He gave Mikel Arteta the opening that we've all of us, every Arsenal fan that I interact with, whether it be here on Twitter, we're all, for the most part, on the Kieran Tierney, future captain of Arsenal bandwagon. Here's your opportunity. Here is Mikel Arteta's opportunity. I will actually think less of Mikel Arteta if Aubameyang, the next time he plays, has that armband. Just will be. This is your opportunity. He's not a captain. It's not a knock on him. Not everybody has that trait. He's not a captain.
Mm-hmm.
So take the armband off of him. Say, you know what? You gave me the opening here. So I'm going to take the armband from you. But now it's a bit of a weight off your shoulders as well. Don't worry about it. Go score. That's what I want you to do. Go score. Go be lethal.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So, for me, the Aubameyang thing, and look, that there was a camera on him the entire game. Whoever the cameraman was, that his one cameraman's job was to sit there with his camera on Aubameyang the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And all he had to do was get on his headset, message his producer, and say, I got a good shot of him sulking here. You want to put it up? And they cut to that camera.
Mm-hmm.
So the body language to me said enough yesterday. And I don't like what the two Robbies in the NBC studio show said. It's like you said, it's not Arteta that's punishing the other players. Aubameyang did it.
Yeah.
Aubameyang did it. The voices in my head made me do it isn't an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I know you want to jump in.
The only thing I want to say is, Rowan is saying that going public does more harm than good, but apparently the press already knew about it. So if Arteta goes and says, well, I dropped him because of tactical reasons, and then they come back and say, well, actually we heard, from Aubameyang's camp that he's been dropped because he's not playing or he was late, that actually looks worse. Arteta is not the type, he's been like this the entire time, to air our dirty laundry. This is very unlike Mikel Arteta. So I have a hard time believing that he did that unprovoked, or without somebody putting a bug in his ear like they already know. Just go ahead and let him know.
Yeah.
So regardless, Aubameyang shouldn't be late. So that's the real villain here. Yep. Period to me. So that's all I really have to say about that.
Rowan said it. Early is on time is late is unacceptable. How can you show up at 10 o'clock if training starts at 10 o'clock?
And maybe they wanted to get the point across. Aubameyang is a very wealthy man, and finding him is clearly, in my mind, not big enough. If finding you is not going to do anything, well, let's just drop you.
Eugene makes it. This is an interesting point here. Keep the vibes high in the squad. Don't strip him of the armband. There's something to be said.
I agree with that.
There's something to be said there.
To the end of the season,
Yeah.
Just do it at the end of the season.
You know what, Eugene? When you put that spin on it, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Yeah, like Jess just said, let him keep it till the end of the season. You reevaluate at that point. Who knows? Maybe he's not habitually late anymore. Maybe this was the wake-up call that he needed.
Or maybe he's not here because we don't make the top four, right? The clause.
Could be. Yeah, if that's a real thing. I don't know if it is, but yeah. So for me, I've heard some people say that they wouldn't start him on Thursday either. Who are you going to start? Because I ain't starting.
I would. I wouldn't start because I'm not starting Eddie.
Yeah, I'm not starting Eddie or Balogun. I mean,
just start Aubameyang. Start Aubameyang, Willian, and Pepe. Just make it easy.
If to me, it's done and over with now.
Yeah.
Okay? You didn't play in one of the biggest games of the year for us. That was your punishment. Now it's done and over.
Yeah, that's the punishment.
Now you're available for selection. You're going to play. And I pull him aside and say, you know what? And the expectation is you're going to go out, you're going to score a brace tonight against Olympiacos, and you're going to help us bury them early on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to sit down in the second half and enjoy a cigar and a bourbon because I'm that relaxed. And I'm saying that to the players. Like, you know what? I'm going to be on the touchline. I'm going to sit down. Like, I want somebody to serve me a drink. That's how comfortable I want to be in the second half with Olympiacos. So I'm getting in Aubameyang's ear and I'm saying, okay, look, man, done. It's over with. We move on now. Now it's time for you to go be the player that we know you can be. And we go and we bury Olympiacos on Thursday in the first half hour. So
exactly.
Yeah, so that's all I got. I think I'd say this was a pretty big success tonight. Maybe we don't know. I don't know if we want to do this, keep doing this live or not. But this was fun. This was fun. We had
you guys let us know in the comments if you would rather see these live or you like them recorded. Let us know. If you like this, let us know.
Yeah, drop a comment because we're going to get out of here. I actually have dinner to eat and whatnot. So, Rowan, thank you very much. By the way, I'll see you tomorrow night, sir. Hopefully, you're feeling you're a little more awake. The jet lag hopefully is worn off for you. So, but yeah. So let us know in the comments, not necessarily in the live chat, but let us know in the comments below if you would like to see us do this live week in and week out. I am certainly up for it.
Hit the likes before you leave.
Yep, absolutely. Jess, I think everybody knows where to find you. What do you have coming up? What's in the works for you?
So the next show will be the match preview for the Olympiacos match. And that'll be tomorrow, So I do my match previews when I get the press conferences. Usually well, it actually might be. It depends, you guys. To be determined. If they do the press conference on Wednesday, then it'll be on Wednesday because I like to gather that information. But you guys follow me at It's Jessinho and you'll get all the information there. Make sure you subscribe to the Bearded Gooners channel. Great content, good game day content. So make sure that you subscribe and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so next up for me is same old Arsenal USA tomorrow night, 9:45 p.m. Eastern time. Hey, if you're in England, guess what? You don't have to stay up as late because you're now only 4 hours ahead of us. So we will be going at 1:45 a.m. in the UK or 6:45 p.m. on the West Coast, and everybody knows the West Coast is the best coast, even though I'm on the East Coast. But anyway, the tailgate, Arsenal tailgate will be Thursday before Olympiacos. We have Arsenal Aftermath immediately following the Olympiacos game. We do that every match day. We've got the tailgate. We've got the Aftermath pre and post game stuff. So, yep, that's it. I want to thank everybody in the chat box. You guys were great tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. It was a lot of fun. Jess, thank you as always. Appreciate it. That is it for us, guys. We are out of here. Good footy talk. We'll see you out there.